afternoon. We're back with you live from the LinkedIn Hub at Advertising Week right here in Times Square. And we have with us Rebecca Kaykas-Wolff. She is the Director of Data Management Product Marketing at Oracle. Big title.
Big title, yeah.
Big title, and I kind of need to know what we're talking about here. But let's start by talking about something that everybody here at Advertising Week has been talking about. And the reason I want to talk to you about it is because I know you have a slightly different perspective, and I love hearing new and interesting takes on buzzwords that everybody's talking about. So we'll talk about the relevance issue. Everyone is thinking about relevance. How do we make ourselves? How do we really scale relevance, and how do we make it super relevant? So let's talk about what do you see as happening in that realm, and what do you see as hopefully changing in the near future?
Sure. So I think when we think about the concept of relevance, we think about the way that our brands and customers can actually organize data and then do something meaningful with it. Because at the end of the day, that's actually what you're trying to achieve, right? You're trying to achieve cross-channel effectiveness in your marketing, and I'm sure that that's been a theme here at AdWeek. So that's what we do, and we help do that through a collection of different technologies, one of which is the data management platform, which is not only a product, but it's actually become a theme for a lot of data-driven advertisers and marketers. Because in order to add that relevance and value, so for instance, you're shopping and you've interacted with a brand already, but they don't know who you are, how relevant is that brand experience going to be for you? It's not going to be very relevant, especially if you've had a negative interaction. So a lot of companies, both on the marketing and advertising side, are really looking at how to do that. And first and foremost, is looking at how you could organize the information about your current customers that you already have.
Mm-hmm. You were also saying to me something about what your perspective on relevance has to do with the repeatability of it?
Yes. So especially from an advertising perspective, and thank you for reminding me, especially from an advertising perspective, it's very key that we all think about, from a marketer's perspective, the way to build programs, not just isolated campaigns. So especially where we're trying to define not only what relevance might mean for an individual, how do you scale that in a repeated fashion time and time again, so you're building a marketing program or an advertising program that's sustainable. And that comes down to the processes that you have within your organization, from an operational perspective, to the people that you hire, to the types of technologies that you use and deploy.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that also a lot of people are talking about, a lot of people are thinking about, is the idea that consumers now have real-time access to information. They can get everything all the time, and so that changes and redefines completely the journey they have. So how do marketers, how do advertisers, how do brands make their way into that journey in a meaningful way and in a relevant way?
So we talk a lot at Oracle and in council with our customers about being adaptive marketers. So it's kind of this philosophy that absolutely relates to that sentiment that each of us as individuals, and then the companies that are trying to gain our trust and loyalty and that we're doing business with, that there is no one linear process. As marketers, we would love that, right? Because it makes our jobs really super simple,
easier,
right?
Yeah.
It's repeatable instantly, right?
Yes.
Because you've got the menu.
Yeah.
That's right. But the reality is that it doesn't work that way. And so we have to, as marketers and technology individuals, like the company that I represent, the technology that I represent, is figure out best ways to make that possible, to account for the non-linear process of the way that people are interacting with brands. So we do that by organizational design. Like, again, do you have the right people? Do you have the right processes and systems? Do you know who your customers are, and do you have that access to the right first-party data? And then do you have the ability to activate that consistently through either your own systems or a multitude of different ecosystem partners that you have integrations with?
Mm-hmm. Another thing, I know you guys at Oracle are doing quite a few things, like partnering up with LinkedIn on interesting things to really be effective and to have more effective strategies. So let's talk about the partnerships and how they work.
Yes, so at Oracle we have kind of an interesting perspective. I run product marketing for a part of our technology called the Oracle Data Management Platform, which is a DMP, formerly BlueKai. It's part of our marketing cloud, so lots of different words. And the marketing cloud is really technology that's geared toward making sure that we have the right tools in place to manage great cross-channel efficiency for our partners. So what we do with LinkedIn is we have an integration with our B2B email program that allows us to take B2B email information from our system and port that into LinkedIn for the best display targeting possible through LinkedIn. And then conversely, we can actually port that data back into our own systems. Eloqua is the known term for our B2B platform, cross-channel platform, to then use that to maybe invest in better nurturing campaigns. And so we're very excited about that, and we launched that earlier in the year. And we have a lot of other ecosystem partnerships. We really believe in that openness.
So lastly, I just want to ask you kind of about some trends. I mean, you're someone who's obviously spends a lot of time thinking about data and thinking about marketing. What are some of the trends that you are seeing going forward, and especially for, say 2016 or the next year or so?
Sure. So I think that a theme that we hear a lot is the idea of everybody needs to be data-driven and data-connected, but you can't do that and sacrifice the great heart and soul that creative does for you. So how do you blend the two together in a very meaningful way, which I actually feel like is a really apt concept, especially for Ad Week, right? It's like where you have to marry the two together, but you have to create systems in order to do that efficiently. I think that's a trend you'll hear more about, and I think it's a theme that technology providers are going to try to deliver against, and brands and consumers will mandate that happens. I also think that we're still looking at items like mobile and how to scale that efficiently. So that's something that we're looking at. And then I think lastly, from an advertising perspective, the data conversation has always been kind of part of that recipe for success. That's bridging over into cross-channel marketing applications as well. So marketers are starting to think about this repeatability concept and monetizing customer experience across the board, which I think is very exciting.
Well, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoy the rest of Advertising Week. A lot of smart and interesting things going on here, and a lot of interest. I look at some of the new things that people are talking about. It's like, wow, where are we going to be 5 years from now? And I think the landscape is going to look completely different. So it's super interesting. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you so much.